And good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Back again with the keys to the kingdom. It's Mark, MUFC fan, bringing you some news about the United game as we look ahead of the clash tomorrow at Bramall Lane with Sheffield United. So, how are you doing today, the VR community? I hope you all are well. I hope everything is good. I know it's not the most amazing because of other news going on about the club in the ether, but it's football time, guys. And here's Bella to give you guys the intro.
Welcome back to Mufc Realist TV. My name is Bella. I am a presenter and hostess of this channel. Thank you for tuning in. The show is about to begin. I want you to give this video a cheeky little like and subscribe to our channel if you have not done so yet. As you must agree that I am better looking than Mark Goldbridge. So what are you waiting for? Just do it. Smash that like button now. Let's go Reds. Buckle up. Get ready to rumble.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Mandalay Bay, Las Vegas, let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah, Reds, let's go. It's back. It's match day tomorrow. Everyone should be excited. It's going to be fun. And I'm pretty sure Manchester United is going to prove everyone wrong tomorrow. We're going to win that game. I'm looking forward to a victory tomorrow at Bramall Lane versus Sheffield United. And we have a lot to discuss in a short time because it's really not that much information because it's been going around and trending in the ether everywhere. And it's just a little bit of information about training day. And Anthony Marshall is fit training. Varane is back in full training. It's exciting, guys, because we had so many injuries and we weren't sure what's going to happen. We have three big games. We need to get a win at Sheffield United. We have to get a win on Tuesday in the Champions League against Copenhagen at home. And there's the derby coming the following week. So, it's good to see that these guys are fit and in training, full training with the team. Everyone has smiles on their faces. They look interested. They look ready for football, guys. What are you thinking? What is the VR room thinking this morning? Could you guys help me out? Give me some information. Tell me how you feel. Who are you looking forward to seeing playing on Saturday? What's going on? And we'll move on. And it was suspected that these two lads were not fit, but here they are in full training with the Man United team, ready, getting themselves ready for the clash on Saturday. You know, Hoyland was targeted in his game and against San Marino, and he had to be taken off on the 79 minute, but he was able to score a banger. You know what I mean? Sofian Amrabat, he was feared to be injured, so he was kept from play with Morocco and saved, and now sent back to Manchester. And it looks like he's fit and ready and raring to go. Are we seeing a trend here, guys? Is this the return of the same type of management that Sir Alex did when he would let stars be injured when they go to international duty sometimes so that they won't play? Is this what we're seeing? I don't know, but it's exciting to think about. You know what I mean? We need a style of management that kind of protects our players from themselves. I would like to see some players be substituted and rotated, not because they're not performing well, but because, they need to get rest at the end of the day. They're human, you know what I mean? Even though they want to play every game, they can't play every game. It won't be the best for them and their development and progress and maintaining their sharpness. You know what I mean? Sometimes they need a fresh to be rested. And also Serge Reguilon is back. So we actually have an actual left back in the team, guys. And I hope you all, are excited because, this guy plays at 90 minutes, for 90 minutes at 90 miles an hour. He runs up and down the field. He tracks down players. He makes tackles. He makes overlaps. He provides an option for the wingers. This guy can play left back, and a lot of people are saying maybe he's not that good. Why did Tottenham let him go? But this guy was one of the most highest rated left backs in the world coming from Real Madrid some years ago. And it's very interesting that he always wanted to play for Manchester United but was unable to till now. And if I have to be honest, I might not have also wanted him at the club. But after I looked at his performances, it shocked me. He impressed me. I'm thinking he's really good competition for Luke Shaw. And everyone thinks Luke Shaw is amazing, and Luke Shaw is amazing. But sometimes Luke Shaw needs competition to show the Shawbutter Carlos out of him. And this guy, if he stays fit, I'm not too sure it's going to be an easy battle getting back to number one spot. And let's check out the VR room and see what they're saying. And Mark Davies is coming in. Good morning, Mark. How are you doing? Hi, I've heard that Qatar have completely walked away from Bayern United. They are not coming back in the Glazers. The Glazers want Jim. Mark. Um, yeah, it's all about the news right now. And I'm not too sure about that because at the end of the day, like I keep saying, I believe more in the NDA. Until I see something concrete from the Rain Group, I'm not believing all these journals because, if we think about it on one side, Qatar is a nation with pride, and they would not like to lose to anyone, especially when they think themselves to be wealthier and better at business. So I'm not too sure. And yes, I favor Qatar, but at the end of the day, the sale is out of our hands unless we just keep protesting and stopping games. You know what I mean? We can't really do it. Shouldn't be right for us to protest in any violence, like to destroy anything. That's not the right thing to do. But we need to keep the protest up. I think that's the only thing is gonna might tip it in our favor because brands and stuff would be afraid to invest if the fans or the market is not interested, if you know what I mean. So let's move on. Tony Bond is coming in. I'm concerned about Sir Jim being delayed. Stinks of nothing happening in the January window. The excuse will be we didn't have recruitment team in place. Well, guys, I've been thinking when I heard that bid, that 25% doesn't make any sense to me. And as the more information comes out, you can see there's no real change happening to the club other than we're getting a seventh Glazer because he says he's investing this money to take over Sporting, but Joel Glazer is going to sit on the chair of Sporting alongside Sir something, whatever his name is, the cycling guy. I can't remember his name at the moment. I'm sorry. But the two of whom they know nothing of football. You know what I mean? And if we have to wait on them to make decisions, it's probably never going to happen. If they have to approve Sir Jim Ratcliffe's decisions, what's the point of him? Is he really in charge of Sporting? Or is this just another ploy, to make fans feel like something good is about to happen? I don't know, guys. Morning, Alistair Dirks. Morning, guys. Stephanie Griffith is in here. Morning, Stephanie. 11 likes, guys. Come on. You know what I mean? 22 watching, 11 likes. It's decent. Let's get up to 20. You know what I mean? Shout out for the guys. If your Glazers out, hit that like button, smash that like, and subscribe to the channel right now. Ivo Bostic is coming in. It may be weeks before anything is sorted with Sir Jim. His deal is far more complicated than it first seems. Yes, I agree with you, Ivo. It's really, really weird. And in my honest opinion, it's like a complicated mess of nothing, and nothing changes because if you look at it from the perspective I have, it's a share buy, right? Straight up share buy. It's not even an investment. So when people say it's an investment and Sir Jim is investing into United, he's not actually, because if he was investing, he would be buying the A shares, right? And the A shares on the market, when he buys those shares, it raises the value of the club and the club earns money, right? But he's buying the shares directly from the Glazers, so that money could only go into the Glazer pockets. Legally, it can't be used and reinvested into the club. But I'm not too sure. It's just some stuff I read, and that's the idea that it gave me. So I'm really not interested in that deal. It makes no sense to me. Asid Mia, good morning, guys. Good morning to you, my friend. Good morning, Lise Jensen. Big up to you, and big up to the VR room. David Porter, brilliant observation about the Sporting control bluffing. Yes, David Porter. It's just another wool over our eyes as Manchester United fans. We can't stand for this, and I'm not gonna say any fans that back Sir Jim, don't have the best interests of the club at heart, but the one thing all fans had in common and have supposed to have in common is we want Glazers out. And if Sir Jim is taking over it, there's not any Glazers out, at least not for 3 to 5, maybe even 10 years, because we don't even know if there's a guaranteed clause in the contract that the Glazers have to sell Sir Jim the club. There's nothing that says there's no definite clause that says, if he does this and he does this, he gets the club in this time, he can buy these shares this year. It's all speculation. And that is really, really, really bothering me. You know what I mean? So, what are you guys thinking about Saturday? Anyone excited? Anyone thinks that we're going to have a really good victory? I'm kind of, in a way, I'm looking past Saturday because I'm really wanting us to, like, for some reason continue in the Champions League, even if just get out of the group. You know what I mean? It would show that we are there and we are able to compete at that level. And I think it would be nice for us to continue in the Champions League and find form and play well, even if we don't win the Champions League. You know what I mean? But maintaining form throughout the competitions would be good for the team, in my opinion. And the right wing secured. Guys, what are you thinking? With everything that's going on and with the team photo being taken for the rest of the season yet in this past week, Sancho being excluded, we have Palestri and we have Anthony, guys. I think our right wing could be secured for the next couple of years. It may be in the summer we could get a new addition for competition, but at the same time, I think Palestri is very talented and he will develop into the type of right winger we need, a different kind of right winger to one that starts, which is Anthony, who I think is high time he starts showing why he was so wanted by the manager. I don't care about how much he costs. It's not his fault. The 90 million is the fault of the club not being able to do the negotiations at the best of their ability, in my opinion. Because everyone knows Ten Hag gave a list to the club in May before he even took over Manchester United and before the transfer window started. And, well, most of our signings came at the end. So for me, I'm looking forward to see the development of these guys over this season, and I would like to share my support and hope everyone in the VR room could just back these guys because, they're what we got and they have the talent. So they just need our support. They just need to show it. Anthony had his first season. He did okay. I think this season he should push on. He was dealing with a lot at the beginning. Now that seems to be coming to an end in a kind of favorable way for him, he should be able to like kick on now. Ivo Bostic is coming back in. He can only get A shares, which are worthless control-wise. Glazer B shares convert to A shares if sold. There's no way he can get B shares without a legal battle. These are the things I'm talking about, guys. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we really doing, guys? What is the media promoting? Why do they want this guy so much? It's not healthy. It's not even good for fans. It's not good for club. The stock market share price is dropping at 1.4%. So it's like no one wants this guy. How could this be a good business deal? People say this is smart. But I look at it from the perspective where he says he's a fan of Manchester United from boyhood. He's from Manchester. He wants to bring the Manchester back in Manchester. And he makes those statements proudly with such chest. And then Manchester United has the opportunity to get the Glazers out, something all fans were protesting for years. And if he was a fan, I'm pretty sure he would be protesting too, unless he's not a fan. And in my honest opinion, I don't believe he's a fan of our club. He tried to buy Barcelona. And when he failed, he tried to buy Chelsea. And when that failed, all of a sudden, I'm a Man United fan. I think it's a vanity project with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. And vanity projects don't ever really be successful because there's no heart in there. There's nothing. He has no horse in the race, in my opinion. He's doing this just for the philanthropic PR, as people would say. David Porter is coming in. There's a total lack of transparency about Sir Jim's bid. We are being left in the dark. Why are we being treated with such lack of respect? I don't know David Porter, but what I do know is the Glazers. They don't really care about fans. They only care about the money they make. You know what I mean? When they were receiving tons and tons of emails and bad criticisms to their various businesses all over they were feeling the hurt. When guys came out in their numbers and fans came out in their numbers, all the different fan groups came out in their numbers and protested the Super League. They felt that. And I think we need to continue. I think we need to step it up because this can't be happening. You know what I mean? If we let this happen, we could only blame ourselves as fans, because as fans, we do have the power to change this, right? And now is not the time to be thinking about, oh, this one doesn't like Marcus Rashford, or this one doesn't like Bruno, or this one doesn't like the goalkeeper, or doesn't like a defender, don't like Harry Maguire. Who's a Manchester Man United fan? Who's an E fan? This is not the time for that. This time, the only time, is Glazers out, guys. We can't do another 18 years with these guys. It's going to kill us. Mark Davies. I want Qatar too. It seems to me that the Glazers want Sir Jim. It's only Joel and Avram wants to stay. The other four want full sail. Why don't they just leave United and leave United? We'll beat Sheffield on Saturday. Yeah, I agree with you, Mark. I also think United is going to beat Sheffield tomorrow. And yeah, I think they should leave. And this is why I kind of I'm super skeptical about the Sir Jim takeover, because Darcy Glazer has the second most shares, 18.25%, right? And the other three siblings, from my knowledge, they are closer with Darcy than they are with the older brothers. And I'm hoping that the fact that their businesses, otherwise United, were being targeted the most, and they were receiving the most backlash of all the siblings, they wanted out. They made this clear. This is the whole reason the Glazers even thought about selling the club, is because the four of those siblings want out. So just like the board voted against dividends, I think these guys will vote against Sir Jim, because getting $1 billion now is better than hoping to get $1 billion 3-4 years from now, because the club value could plummet. Sir Jim could come in and we could get relegated, extra, etc. Anything could happen. Stephanie Griffith. Liverpool won the UCL in 2005 after losing the first three group games. Anything is possible. Just got to play your way out of bad form and go on a run. I totally agree with that comment. And like I keep saying, United going into Christmas every single season is like when we find that spark for some reason. I don't know what it is. I think these guys love to give gifts to the fans, because it's always a bookie run to the Christmas time. So I'm looking forward, and I'm hoping that it happens again this year. And let's back this team. Ivo Bosic. Ten Hag's son, the fidget spinner, is a glorified second right back. Great going backwards, shite going forward. Evo, you really don't like the guy. I know, man. I know. But it's all right though. He's gonna do fine. Trust me. At the end of this season, you're gonna be singing praises for Anthony. You will see why he's selected for Brazil ahead of Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus. Yeah, I said that. He is selected for Brazil team before those two guys. So you can think of it in that way. David Porter is coming back in. Sir Jim should seriously think about withdrawing his bid. If he values his reputation, he should consider this. It's up to Manchester United fans to make sure that he knows he's not welcome at the club. He's not welcome. And as long as we make sure that he knows he's not welcome, we should be fine. Tony Bond. The media want him for some reason, the same reason they wanted Poch. They know he will fail, and then they get more dramatic stories for their outlets. Exactly. The British media seems to feed on any little happening on Manchester United. They don't talk about us when we got bad decisions from referees, no proper VAR calls. They don't talk about us. They only talk about when the, the mistakes happen for in our favor. You know what I mean? Like when Onana made that tackle against Wolves, they milked that in the media everywhere. They love to make United seem like the worst club in the world for some reason. I think it's probably based on childhood trauma. These guys usually lived on their knees when United was winning 20 trophies back in the day. Good morning, Jarvis Cocker. Good morning, folks, you fabulous folks to the community. Hope you have a great night's sleep and all are set for the weekend of proper football. It's back at last. Grab your coffee and let's enjoy the show. That's what I'm saying, Jarvis, and I'll have a sip of mine. Yeah, Jarvis, it's been a good morning. Everyone seems to be excited for football, still disappointed with the situation and the news on the Glazers and what they're thinking of doing. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, football is back and we have 3 games this week, so it's going to be fast and furious for us. Start one, bench one, guys. And I know you guys weren't thinking I was going to say this for real, but it has to be said. Who are we going to start? Let me hear in the comments below. Who are we going to bench? Top it up in the comments. Because I know Marcus Rashford had a good start on his campaign on international duty, scoring a goal. He had a real good game against Italy, surprising me mostly. I'm also an Italy fan, guys. I'm sorry. But you know how it is. And at the end of the day, like, I was shocked at his performance. Like, I missed those performances for Manchester United in the 8 games we played in the, and for me it was like kind of disappointing in a way, because I'm like, he doesn't play that way for United, and I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Some people might think the team doesn't make runs for him, but I would say the same thing. He doesn't make runs for the team. So I'm hoping he translates the form from Italy into the Premier League for Manchester United and into the Champions League. But then again, his form previously for Manchester United was not good. So are we going to just give him a break because he scored a goal, or are we going to give Garnacho a chance, who has been playing and contributing every time? So maybe we could bench Marcus Rashford, start Garnacho, start Bruno in the midfield, or we could bench Bruno, start Mason Mount in the midfield, and let Marcus Rashford run on the left wing because of his performance against Italy. So I don't know. I mean, Bruno has been in top form. He has like 4 assists, 2 goals, and it's been amazing. It always seems to be amazing for him when he plays for Portugal. You know what I mean? So I don't know, guys. What are you thinking? Coffee is good for you? Yeah, yeah, I know. Stephanie Griffith, 3 games, 3 wins. Hope so. Yeah, it would be nice. Like a win against Man City would be nice. And if fans are thinking about protesting, I think the best game for us to protest is against Man City, because it's going to get the most traction, right? Could you imagine fans get up and walk out on the 5th minute of the game after kickoff? That would be insane. Insane, guys. Insane. Ivo Bosic, bench Cashford. He sucks versus low box. He needs counter-attack ball. He's a greyhound who loves chasing balls. Well, Ivo Bosic, I won't really say that, but at the same time, he hasn't been performing really well, so I agree he should be benched. Bench Bruno. Rashford needs to play so he can work with Hoyland and learn his way of moving. Lisa Jensen is coming in hot, and she disagrees with me, but that's okay. That's pretty nice. I think that's fine. You know what I mean? It's I would like to see one of the other happen, really, to be honest, because I would like to see a difference in our team going forward. Ivo Bosic, he's an amazing for Portugal because they aren't brain dead enough to play him on the right wing. Ivo, sometimes I forget you dislike Ten Hag, but he'll make a fan out of you soon. Don't worry. Mark Davies is coming in. If we do get Qatar, our results will get better on the field. The Glazers are making our club so bad. They don't care about our club. Glazers out, Glazers out. And that's the story. That's the story. These guys don't really know about football. Joel's still learning the offside rule, I hear. So it's like crazy, you know what I mean? What do they know? They should not own this club anymore. Wouldn't start Rashi and tell Bruno, imagine he's playing for Portugal. Great shout, Stephanie Griffith. Great shout. Great shout. David Porter. Garnacho should start at Sheffield. Give him a chance. He deserves it. And I totally agree. I'm even in favor of starting Palestri as well, because I kind of like his performances. A lot of people said he hasn't done it for them, but when you think about the fact that he's got his first full start against Bayern Munich in the Champions League, facing off against Alphonso Davies, who no one beats for pace, then you got to give him some props, because he had him done for trickery on the field. He almost got a penalty in the first 3 minutes of the game when Alphonso Davies went through the back of him. But sometimes it's not to be done. The referees sometimes, I think they give Man United a hard time, and even the Manchester United women's team get a hard time from the referees in the Champions League. It's kind of disgusting sometimes. Sinat Sour. Big protest soon. I hope so, guys, and I would like to be there. So, I'm looking at the website for that the 1958 has, and it's really interesting. And I'm looking forward to the next announcement for protest because I want to be there. 17 likes, 31 watching. Come on, guys, we can do better. I know it's not that much news and it's just a little bit of conversation and interaction this morning, but you could still like, subscribe, and share the channel around. Help us get to the next one so someone else could enjoy the channel as well. That would be nice. Lisa Jensen is coming back in again. What is she saying? Don't get me wrong, I love Bruno, but I had to bench one. All right, Lisa Jensen, I'll take that. I'll take that. David Porter is saying Fernandez should play a 10 where he has shone for United. I totally agree. I totally agree. Jarvis Cocker, what players would you sign in January if we sell Maguire, Sancho, McTominay for a total about 65 million? Well, if it's 65 million, I think I would go shopping for three younger players. And the three younger players I would go shopping for would be Marcus Leonardo. I would definitely try to get Goncalo Ignacio on loan or with some kind of structure. And if I could, I would try to either get Gulerhelm or Loran because we need a midfielder and we need another striker and we need a defender. So I would do that. But I would also contradict your question a bit, Jarvis, and ask you, what if we sell Maguire for 30, Scott for 30, and Sancho for 50, and we get 110 million? What would you do with it? VR room. What would you guys do if we were to sell these three players and instead we get 110 million? What would your three players be, or who would you sign in January? Big up to you, Lisa Jensen. See you later. Have a great day as well. Next week, 2 games canceled, big protests. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. And guys, I have a little bit of a surprise for you. And this was the last of training yesterday. And we managed to get a picture of this guy in training, full training with the first team, very heavily involved. So the talk is, and the leak is that Kobe starts on Saturday. And I would be definitely looking forward to that because for some reason, this youngster gives me an electric feeling. It's not like that, superstar got all the dribbles and everything, but he's just so smooth with the ball. When he gets the ball, he controls it well. He looks up, he makes a good move, he knows how to drop his shoulder, he gets past defenders, he makes good passes, short and long. I'm looking forward to his return. And Mark Davies is back in. Ten Hag should bench Rashford. He has been rubbish for us so far this season. What has gone wrong with him? He was scoring goals last season. And I agree with you. It's like, I don't know. It's like people think we got the evil twin of Jaden Sancho, Jason Sancho. Maybe this season we got Marcus's little brother. You know what I mean? I don't know what his name would be, but he's definitely not looking like the Marcus Rashford of last season. And honestly, like, I'm not a huge fan because from watching United, I always look to him because he gets all the attention. And in my honest opinion, he has been so inconsistent. And we're always hoping for him to kick on and do well and play really well. But, I don't know if it's something mentally or it's just his form. I don't know. I really don't know. But I would like to see the lad find some kind of consistency for once. He's been here for 8 seasons. This is his 9th season. He's the second most senior player in the squad. It's high time he steps up, bring the consistency and the star flair with him. You know what I mean? And start doing it. This news has made me smile. Mainu, Amrabat, Hannibal at the midfield. We would totally dominate at the midfield. I'm agreeable with that, Jarvis. I'm very agreeable with that. You know what I mean? I'm looking at that midfield. It's young, it's got energy, it's got experience, it's got that unknown factor. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of people always say, we need to bed in these youngsters. We need to give them time. But giving them time is what? Giving them one game, 10 minutes a game every other week, or giving them get playing time in the tune of like 30 to 45 minutes a game week in, week out. Because in my opinion, these young players are going to academies. They're not just training with regular football teams. They're training with the intent to be professional players, and their dreams are to play in the big time. So in favor of throwing them in the frying pan and seeing how they do, sink or swim type. You know what I mean? This is like competitive sport, so I really and truly believe they need to just be thrown in, see what they could do. And if they make mistakes, you know what I mean, you still give them some games and then you could take them out and coach them and let them know, listen, it's okay you make these mistakes, but you could think about doing this or think about doing that. So they have a bit of practical and experience with the theoretical going on. You know what I mean? Jarvis is back in. The perfect game to bet them in. Sheffield United is dead last. I agree. I agree. And I also would think that, even though it's a must win game against Copenhagen, I won't be afraid of playing one or two of the youths against them as well, because the big game is on Saturday, guys. Manchester Derby next weekend. So, maybe we could see two rotated teams today and on Tuesday, but strong teams, because at the end of the day, once you're playing for Manchester United, you should be well enough and capable to cover. That's just my opinion. It's time these guys all stepped up. Every first team member, whether they're 18, 20, 30, they all have to step up and show up and give the fans what we're asking for, and that is wins. Stephanie Griffith, we have paid 60 million for Mount, and we don't talk about him playing. Not what I want him to, but youth needs a pathway, in my opinion. Uh, well, Stephanie, it has been said, I have said it as well on this channel, that Ten Hag actually wanted Xavi Simons, and him wanting him was for a different reason, because he brings something different. I mean, he's younger, he's more hungry, he's energetic, he's got that unknown factor. You know what I mean? And Mason Mount has all the talent in the world, and he's done some great things at Chelsea. But at the same time, in my opinion, he doesn't really, he needs more time to bed into our team because of the different style of football, and maybe he's expected to do different things at Manchester United from what he was doing at Chelsea. Because from what I do know, at Chelsea, he played mostly on the wings. That those were his most effective positions, and we have not seen him play on the wing for Manchester United. So I don't know what his worth is really. You know what I mean? And to be fair, as a fan, I can't get over him wearing the number 7. For me, that's the biggest problem. And he needs to start showing up and proving me wrong, proving other fans wrong. And this needs to start soon, because I dread saying this, but the number 7 starts seeming like a regular number at Manchester United. And that's heartbreaking. And Jarvis Cocker is back in. If Mainu could dominate Real Madrid, he will definitely be up for Sheffield at Bramall Lane. I agree. I agree. And we definitely should follow what Grace Picken is saying. We have to use Sheffield United as a scapegoat to scare other clubs. I see this game having a very big score for United. Oh, hats off to you, Grace Picken. I really did. I really peg us to win, but I'm not too sure about the scoreline. But I do know Manchester United will win tomorrow. It's just my gut feeling, you know, guys. And, this was meant to be like a short 10-15 minute preview. And it ended up being long because you guys all joined me this morning. And I thank you for all being here and taking the time to take part in the show and interact with me. Stephanie Griffith is coming in. We got 24 likes, guys, 43 people watching. Thank you for that. I hope we could get up some more likes, maybe to 40 before I close the show. You bring a fair point, Stephanie. Mason Mount was a strange signing. Reminds me of Donny signing in many ways. Jarvis is coming in with some facts here. Like, what about Donny? No one's talking about Donny. Anyone thinks Donny might start tomorrow? because when you think about it, Bruno's played lots of football. We're not too sure about Mason Mount. When Donny last played, which is in the game behind closed doors, he had an assist and I think he scored. So it would be nice to see Donny get a start tomorrow, to be fair, because at the end of the day, Donny came with a huge hype behind him of ability and the ability to be there and get in the mix, get goals, get assists, and he hasn't really been given the opportunity to do so. I know last season he started playing and then he had this major injury, and I think that really kind of put the nail in the coffin for fans with Donny. But for me, I think it really disappointed him as well. And since he has not left the club, maybe he might show up. Maybe we might all be looking for other players to show up, and Donny might be the one coming up for us right now. So it would be nice to see Donny get a game. He is, after all, a very good number 10 who knows Eric Ten Hag's style of play from Ajax. And, you know, maybe it's the time. Maybe some of the players we aren't looking out for are the ones who are going to come true and give us those victories and those great performances this season, you know? And what do you guys think about the coach? I know Eva Bosic thinks he's the ball fraud, but I don't. I think he's our manager, our gaffer, the guy we should trust. This guy has done wonders last season. I think he's overachieved, and he has some big decisions to make this weekend. And as we warm up and get ready for the manager's press conference at 2:45, everyone, what are your thoughts on Eric Ten Hag thus far? He gave us third, two cup finals, winning a cup last season. The start of this season hasn't been great. 4 wins from 10 games. It could be better. Are you guys willing to back this manager, or do you guys think that he's out of his depth? Which one? Comment in the VR room. Ivo Bosic, we need strikers. We get a Bruno clone and a keeper first. The mind boggles. I agree with you, Evo. I agree. And Jarvis is coming in again. Donny is too far down the pecking order. Needs to be sold for his own good. I could see why you say that, Jarvis. But with the injuries that we have and with the team currently not showing that consistent form, don't you think there might be an opportunity for Donny until the January window? I mean, Tony Brand is coming in. Menu, Garnacho, Medjbri, Gore, Palestri, and Rasmus are our future. Play them and give them the experience they desire. They can't do worse than this lot are playing right now. Tony, you're the man. I agree with you, mate. But are United fans willing to lose games, willing to sit back and have patience for youth to grow? That's my question. That's my thing. Because I'm willing to do this. And I'm sure Ten Hag wouldn't mind doing this. But as if fans are going to sit down and take this, because remember, at United, our standards is winning. You know what I mean? Mainu and Hoyland give me hope. They give me hope too, bro. Not only Mainu and Hoyland, but like Alvaro Fernandez. Another player. Ten Hag was initially not trying to have Gordon loan, that was sent on loan by our DOF, and now we're in an injury crisis. That guy would have been doing bits, in my opinion. In my opinion, he is the future of our left back. Grace picking in Eric, we trust. Yeah. Yes, Tony. This season is over in many ways. We might as well build for the future. Jarvis, I'm not agreeing with you with this statement, man. This is a bit too defeatist for me. This season is not over, and there's still 90 points mathematically up for grabs, right? 90 points, and we are on what? 10? That's 100 points, guys. So 100 points definitely gets us top 4. Other teams have to play each other. We must not forget City has to play Arsenal. Arsenal again has to play City. City has to play Liverpool. Liverpool has to play Arsenal. Chelsea has to play Arsenal. Chelsea plays Arsenal this weekend, guys. If Arsenal drop points and we win, we're closer. You know what I mean? So let's not just jump to the conclusion that it's over. It's only 8 games. There are 30 games left in the Premier League. And I mean, if you say the Champions League run could be over, I might quicker believe that because we've lost 2 out of 6. We have to win the other 4, or at least 3 of the other 4 games has to be won. So, yeah, Alistair Dirks is coming in. uh, Got a feeling our so-called misfits will come good if given a chance this season. Yeah, I think so too, guys. I think so. We can't just rule out players because sometimes players are the ones that are getting the bad rep, and suddenly they just start doing bits for the team and they change their whole perception from of the fans. Al Mack is coming in. ETH has until the end of the season to prove himself. Must show improvements. I think that's a bit harsh, but at the end of the day, I understand where you're coming from. It's Manchester United, so we have to see at least something, you know. David Porter is coming in. I support ETH as manager. He needs to show some ability to try things more. That's my only reservation. I agree with you. I think the manager needs to rotate more, be a little bit more ruthless with players, and have a little bit more faith in the young players. But I also think that he's a man that you need to. He's such a perfectionist, right? That you need to show him and give him that exact reason before he shows you that faith going forward. You know what I mean? And a lot of people might not like this opinion of mine, but contrary to what everyone thinks about Jadon Sancho, I think this manager here has such high expectations for that young man and was so disappointed by his behavior that, this is why things are so bad. I think he rated Sancho so highly, he was willing to do what he's never done before and give him 3 months away to go and get his mind right. Eric Ten Hag has been players easier, players with more talent. Noah Lang, who's probably equally as talented as Jadon Sancho. He's been those players, but he gave Sancho time, right? He may not have bought Jadon Sancho, but Sancho's type of player fits our system. And if we're being real, I think the manager doesn't share our opinion. And I think the manager has been disappointed by a lot of players that he actually believes in, and they have not shown him why yet. They have not given him that, yeah, Gaffer, thanks for believing in me. I'm going to do this here, Stephanie Griffith. Ten Hag gets me my backing. Fergie vibes if given time, but working under this ownership, really testing to say the least. Yeah. Under this ownership, I think anyone would be totally, how to say, totally, I don't know. I think you're constantly fighting with one arm tied behind your back under this ownership. These guys don't really know about football. It's not they don't make decisions based on football, so it's tough. Ten Hag is like a bad Tinder experience. Looks good in the app, but disappoints on the date. Where's the Ajax ball his profile promised? I feel catfish, Mark. Well, I mean, let's be real about two things, right? If you are comparing Ten Hag to Ange, then I'm going to say this out to you once, right? Ange came to Tottenham. If anyone knows Tottenham, they were always a team that plays expansive football. They were never a team that plays that defensive style that Conte brought. That's why Conte never really worked. And the players that he had, he couldn't really use because they weren't fit for that system. So technically, they tried to convert to that system, but really they had players for an expansive system. That's just my honest opinion and observation from Tottenham. So Ange came in. He has the style that most of the players are naturally in tuned with. So it's working, right? We didn't have that at Manchester United. We had a group of players who are either counter-attacking, maybe pressing, maybe long ball. It's like 5 different managers worth of players that we have. So we need to get right. So we can't always compare ourselves to City, compare ourselves to Arsenal. These guys are ahead of us in terms of progression, where the club is being run well. They've been buying players based on the system, and the manager is given the time to coach, each of whom has over 4 years before they at the club, right? Some of whom still hasn't won anything. So I don't know, guys. Exactly. Al Mac, it's too early to write off Onana. Should we be worried? Nah, man. Like, the one thing, guys, you need to take into consideration is a defensive unit works well based on trust, right? And if we're going to write off Onana, then we have to definitely consider the fact that, one, he has not been able to learn and gel with the defenders and their characteristics yet. The defender still hasn't learned him yet and learned to trust him well yet. So it's a process that's going to take some time. And the two parties, all parties have to work together. So I say give Onana some time. He's done well. He's shown he can do well, and he will do better. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to start from the bottom and go up. It's not just about results, Mark. It's the overall feeling of the club. Too much noise, injuries, bad performances, backlash from last season. I don't see us turning this around. Top four, yes, but I mean, top four, yes, but I mean, I don't know about anyone, but thinking about United challenging this season for a trophy, it might sound weird, but I never thought that because we're in a rebuild at the end of the day. Most of these players should not even be here, right? People talk about a lot of players doing well now. Where were those players in 21, 22? They were nowhere, right? They were walking on the field and we all wanted them sold. But they're still here, starting in our starting 11, some of them. So in my opinion, thinking that we were going to challenge for a league this season was crazy. And I think that's also the reason why we didn't buy Harry Kane, but because we needed to change system this season. So I always thought that we're going to struggle, but get top four. I can't say I'm going to blame right off the season based on the stuff that was happening surrounding the club. Of course, the takeover of the club is really, really toxic right now. And yeah, no one wants that, but like at the end of the day, it's a football club. We could pay attention to football or pay attention to the takeover, and it's your choice regardless. You know what I mean? And if we're supporting Manchester United football team, then we could block out a takeover for now and focus on football. And we played more 65 games last season, When that happened to Liverpool, look what happened to them last season. So sometimes stuff happens. Football isn't perfect. It's life, real life. So players get injured. Sometimes you get more. You couldn't plan to have 16 players injured, to be fair. So, like, I wouldn't write off the season just yet, but I would say we need a miracle or we need to go on some serious winning streaks, you know? Good manager also need to be lucky managers. I agree with you, Stephanie. We need a bit of luck. A bit of luck. I'm looking at the bigger picture. We want to fight for real titles, and that would happen this season. Yeah, but like, I hear you with that, Jarvis. But at the same time, I'm gonna say this again. There's no way anyone could realistically tell me or give me evidence that proves to them that Manchester United should be competing for a title this season. If you can prove that to me, then yeah, I'll agree with you, but until then, I'm thinking that this is more likely one of the reasons why it's kind of toxic right now because people thought we were going to compete for a title if we got Harry Kane in the second season of a rebuild. I think that's one of the reasons we need to like have a little bit of patience and lower expectations a little bit because last season we didn't really have a team to compete for the title. What makes that different this season? Nothing, in my opinion. So we all know there's lots of players we wanted out. They didn't leave. And so if we base it off the transfer window, then the best we could hope for is top four. And if we end up in a title run, then kudos. But I think the aim to win titles is not this season. It's next season and the season after. I think this season was never an aim to win the Premier League title. I think it was to improve on winning the Carabao Cup, win the FA Cup, challenge in the UCL, and finish top four. That's what I think realistically. I could be wrong as well. You know what I mean? 27 likes. Come on, guys. Let's get it up. Spread the channel out to everyone so they could join us in the VR room and, ask me more questions, contradict me, prove me wrong. Most importantly, it's not a bad thing. I'm very much excited to see Holland play on Saturday. He's the only shining light in the club right now. I could agree with that. I also would add Kobe Menu to that as well. maybe Garnacho. Tony Band, it takes time and patience. I was so excited when we got Fergie, and after 3 years, I was Fergie out. I thought he talks a good game, but doesn't show it on the field. But then look what happened. This is what I'm talking about. Totally agree with Tony here. And Evil Botchage, Ange will never change his identity. Ask Ange what plan B is. It's to do plan A better. Sums up the man. Belief in his system and himself. As an Aussie, I know how Ange works. Yeah, you Australian guys, you're a different breed, you know. You know what I mean? Living in that in Australia, it's like dangerous. There are Komodo dragons and stuff, and giant spiders and these kind of saltwater crocodiles and all those things. Yeah, you gotta have a strong mentality. I would say that. You know, Mark Davies. We should have gone for Harry Kane in the transfer window. He's really good. No, Mark, I'm not saying Harry Kane isn't really good, but I'm saying Harry Kane does not offer you 3 years. No one can tell me that. He's too injury prone and he's over 30, right? So I'm thinking you can at best get 2 seasons out of Harry Kane. And no one wants to, everyone in the comments, I'm pretty sure would agree, you don't want to pay 600K a week to Harry Kane if you're only going to get 2 seasons from him, right? And obviously, in this United team, where there's not a consistent supply for the strikers, do you really expect Harry Kane to bag 30 goals? I mean, Harry Kane is good, but he's no Ronaldo. You know what I mean? But the reason why I said really that it was good that we didn't buy Harry Kane was because the team needs an overhaul. Spending 100+ million on one player doesn't make sense right now for Manchester United. I know 100+ million players are the quality that United should be getting, but maybe we could do the scouting thing and get these players right before that. You know what I mean? And develop these players at Manchester United, because at the end of the day, youth has always been a focus at Manchester United. And to be honest, I rather get more players in positions that could help us win than go buy $100 million player right now, especially in the state of our financials at the club. It's reminiscent of the monkey trap, clutching the peanut, unaware that our hand is trapped. To break free, we must let go. Instead, chasing top four, let's focus on building a stronger future. Yeah, this is the kind of thing I'm thinking about. But at the end of the day, we are setting I think with the current signings that we have made, you see, we signed Rasmus Højlund, Garnacho is coming through, Hannibal is coming through, Kobe Mainu is coming through. You know what I mean? I think we're on a shift, and we're gonna see a different United as the season progresses. And we also must always have a goal. So that's why, I would say top four, because it's an aim, right? I don't think we are there yet to compete for a title, but if we are playing really well and end up in a title race, then I'm all for it, you know? Ten Hag doesn't reward the subs that are performing well or drop his favorites who are performing poorly. Yeah, I can't disagree, and that's one of the things I hope he will change. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm hoping he changes and he does better. He gives players more rotation, but on the flip side, I think it also works both ways. Players need to give the manager reason to put them on the field. You know what I mean? They have to. The manager should be upset and has a headache every single time because everyone's playing so well. He doesn't know who to play, and whoever is on the field is playing so well. He doesn't know who to take off. You know what I mean? So this is where I hope we can get to, and I think we will get there eventually. But again, we have 16 players injured, and I'm not making that an excuse, but I'm also going to say that that rules out the manager being able to have a good pool to select from, the best players from. You know what I mean? It's limited. Grace pick. Other clubs are underrating us right now. We have to give a reaction, a positive one, to bring back our threat at Old Trafford Fortress. Yes, I agree. Eric Ten Hag make Old Trafford a fortress last season. Our away record wasn't so good, but this season, on both sides, it's not that good. So I hope he can improve, and I think we're gonna see something like that this weekend. Marcus Rashford scored that goal, and his statements after was, "I think I can kick on from here," and that's very positive. You know what I mean? And I might want him to be on the bench tomorrow, but if he starts, when I think of that statement, it might be a great thing. He might go out there and score and bag goals. You know what I mean? But I also think, he needs to get that hunger. He needs to be like sitting on the bench thinking, I should be out there. I should be bagging a goal. I should not be sitting here. You know what I mean? For at least more than one game, it's just my opinion. Stephanie Griffith, another cup and UCL qualification, bare minimum. Need to keep collecting a trophy every season. Only currency that matters. I agree with you. Mark Davies, Kane is better than Rashford. Look at what Kane is doing at Munich. He's scoring goals, Mark. Mark, I never compared Rashford with Kane. In my opinion, Kane is better than Rashford. But also, in my opinion, you know, Harry Kane does not fit our system. He scores goals, but he's not that type of mobile striker that you want up front that would work in our system. If you look at how our team play, Harry Kane would basically be playing a 10 role, not at striker. You know what I mean? He drops deep. Everything he does is mostly in the build up, and that's not the type of striker Eric Ten Hag wants. And you know what I mean? So I agree with you. Kane is way better than Marcus Rashford. I would not have mind seeing Kane at the front of our team because Kane would get goals. Referees love that guy. They love to give him penalties as well. You wonder why I'm so critical. You try watching these games anywhere from midnight to 6 a.m. only to watch garbage you watch. Maybe I'd be less angry if I watched it at prime time like you do. Well, Ivo Bosic, I would say something. I used to watch the games at those times because I used to be living in Trinidad and Tobago. And, sometimes games would be 7 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, so 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. These things happen. So, like, I understand how you feel more than you think. 31 likes. Thanks, guys. What's the position of McTominay should play? Should he start? Since Casemiro is in Brazil and we're not too sure if Amrabat is fully fit or not, despite him being in full training yesterday, I wouldn't mind giving Scott McTominay a start tomorrow, to be honest, because he showed that grit. But I wouldn't start him in the DM position. I would actually start a young midfield. Kobe Menu, maybe start him next to Hannibal and put Scott McTominay in the 10. Put Mason Mount on the wing or Garnacho, put Anthony on the next wing, and Hoyland through the middle. That's just my front five. What are you guys thinking? Grace picking. Anthony should do better for the rest of the season. He's a good player, but his decision makings is very poor. Kind of agree with you there. You know what I mean? I think we need to see a better Anthony this season, and I think with how his case has progressed and how things are going for him, I think he might be in a better frame of mind and in a better space to do well for the team. Well, Ivo Bosic, I didn't say CDM, you know what? I said play him in the 10. Menu should be playing in that role, in my opinion. Leave the chat now. Great show, great channel, great community. Take care, guys. Take care. You two have a great day, Tony Bond. And I'm about to close the show in a little while, so I'll take a few last comments and then we'll be off until we come back for the manager's press conference at 2:45. So I would bench Bruno. Yeah, because Bruno has been playing games nonstop for the last year and a half. You know what I mean? Actually, I would give Bruno a ticket and tell him go on vacation for 2 weeks. That's my honest opinion. Because I think he goes on vacation for 2 weeks and comes back and bangs in 15, 20 goals, gets like 10, 20 assists. That's just my opinion. Sometimes players need to rest. When you're rested, you're fresh. You can do things. You are more creative. You're more energetic. So you could imagine if the guy is that creative and that energetic, playing week in, week out, sometimes 2, 3 games a week, how would he be if he gets some rest? I think he'd be 10 times better. Jarvis, if you could pick a team based on your own assessment, what's Mark's starting 11 tomorrow? My starting 11 tomorrow, I would start Diego Dalot at right back. I would start Harry Maguire in the middle next to Lindelof, and I would start Reguilon on the left back. Kobe Menu, Hannibal, maybe Scott McTominay or Mason Mount at 10, and definitely Garnacho off the left, Hoyland up top, and Anthony off the right, with Palestri coming on in the second half on the 50th minute. And I might also make one or two substitutions second half. I would probably take Hoyland off and bring on Martial on the 60th minute as well. And, if we are up by a few goals, I might even rotate some more players into the second half because we got 6 substitutes, right? Or 5. So I would use all my substitutes tomorrow. The Jim Ratcliffe saga. Well, I spoke about it at the beginning because the guys in the VR room kept asking about it. So what we do know right now is that he's in for 25% stake at 1.4 billion, and the hope is that he would be getting full control of the sporting department. But what we have also learned so far is that Joe Glazer and Sir Brailsford are going to be directors of football. So it's not exactly him getting control, but he's going to be sharing control with Joel Glazer, and we're probably not going to have any finances to make purchases if we don't sell anyone in January, because with the bid, it's a share buy, so the money is unable to be reinvested into Manchester United. So basically, that's in a nutshell. I'm one of those fans that think the independent board members may not be interested in that, so that's why the deal has been delayed. So yeah. Mark Davies, I back Ten Hag all the way, but the subs he make are the wrong time. Yeah. Jarvis, I know you would like that team. That team has a lot of youth in it. You know what I mean? And I do like some of the senior players we have as well, but I'm of the firm belief that no one should start every single game. Whether you're playing well or not, you shouldn't start every game because you need to be rested. It's football, right? So Fergie did that as well. Like, you would see David Beckham have a great game this week, and then the next week he's on the bench. You know what I mean? So that's just me. Of course, I would play Anthony Almack. You know what I mean? I think Palestri is great, and I really, really like him. I'm being honest here. But we have 3 games this weekend, and I think Anthony should play today. Palestri should start on Tuesday in the Champions League. You know what I mean? So that's just my opinion. And that's why I picked the team I picked. Stephanie Griffith, thanks for the shout. I would love to be the assistant manager, Maybe I could replace Mitchell van der Gaag when he takes over at Ajax. Who knows? You know what I mean? Just a shout. I might scout some Trinidad players, just letting you guys know. I'm going CONCACAF for scouting. And with a little bit of a light banter at the end, I would like to tell you guys thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm going to wrap up this stream. And I would like you guys to take the time, who is now joining us, to like, subscribe, and share. And, love Manchester United. Go Bananas. Glazers out. And everyone, do enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope you join us again this afternoon at 2:30, where we review the manager's press conference.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. Subscribe if you have not done so yet. If you want to take it to the next level, you can always show your appreciation to sponsor our channel by clicking below the video title, where you will see the heart icon with the text saying, "Thanks." Or you could buy me a cheeky little coffee by scanning this barcode, or visit this link to buy me a virtual coffee. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. Remember, glory, glory, Man United. Glazers out. It is green and gold until we are announced and sold. That was all from me. I wish you a good day and a great match experience, and I shall see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Thank you so much for stopping by and watching Mufc Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.